What's up, guys? So, the fear and greed is now in the neutral zone, which is basically what I expected in my last video from last week. So, a month ago, we were at the fear level of 27, and I told you guys that it was a buying opportunity. And as you guys can see, basically, we did push to the upside, which is what I expected, to the means, which is the middle line of the probability of distribution of the price action. And then we did have a pullback as I expected. And then obviously we were going to, most likely push to that level of the first standard deviation of the upper range. But then the Trump administration came out of nowhere saying that the tariffs were going to happen today, the 1st February. And right before that, there were some fake news articles saying that the tariffs would be delayed into next month, which obviously ended up being fake news, and that's why the market actually sold off aggressively during the second half of yesterday. Basically, a lot of people are trying to say that it had to do with the option expiry, which I like to talk about on this channel. I personally don't believe so. I really think it was just the news coming out of nowhere, and then it triggered the algorithm to sell off. And there's one thing that you need to understand when it comes to the stock market is that regardless if the news is good or bad, that doesn't matter for the stock market. What does affect the stock market on the short to medium term is the uncertainty of the news. And well, yesterday, obviously the market did not like the news and the volatility that comes with the Trump administration, which creates uncertainty. This is not a political statement. That's just, something that if you were trading back in the first term of President Trump, you know that he's very volatile, and that the market actually acted the same way last time he was president, when you could see that there was just more volatility, which I'm basically expecting for the rest of this year. So nothing really changed when it comes to my thoughts on 2025 being a very tricky year, going up and down. So obviously here I was incorrect. We could still push to the upper ranges, we'll see. But if the uncertainty continues, we could, go back down to retest these lower levels before having a bounce. We also have a gap to fill right here at about 587 or something like that on the S&P 500, in that ballpark. Also looking at the S&P 500 post-election year seasonal patterns. The orange line right here is 2025 right now as we speak, and you can see that we are about to enter a window of weakness again if history repeats itself. I would not be surprised if we go sideways to nowhere for the next coming weeks until we then have another pullback again, which is what I tried to tell you guys, that this year is going to be very tricky. Yes, I'm expecting the year of 2025 to be up in the single digit, 5 to 6% maybe if we're lucky. And that's why in my last video I talked about the fact that into this rally it would most likely be a good time to take some profits in long-term portfolios, because at the end of the day you always need to look at the risk and reward. And right now your reward is 5 to 6%, which is not life-changing. But in the same time, we know there's a bear market that is coming in less than a year from now. Being able to buy the weakness during that bear market, that will be life-changing, right? So hopefully my logic makes sense. So this is why, in long-term portfolios, I have been taking a lot of profits, keeping a lot of liquidity, especially for my parents in their retirement. They did very well. We've made a lot of returns. And when you have high allocation to the S&P 500, and all these types of indexes, and you kind of know that the returns won't be that great, and it's not going to change the life of my parents for their retirement. So based on risk reward right now, in my humble opinion, having 10 to 20% of your portfolio in cash for the first half of this year is most likely going to be a better risk adjusted reward for your long-term portfolios. So just keep in mind that 2025 is a good year to have some liquidity in short-term T-bills, GICs, money market funds. There's going to be a way better time to deploy the capital. For short-term portfolios, right, my short-term trading portfolios, nothing changed for me. I'm just collecting premia, selling cash secured puts and covered calls, and doing the whale strategy. So this market actually is perfect if you're a option seller. I believe that option selling is going to be one of the best outperforming strategies for the year of 2025, because it's going to be a very volatile year. And if you're just patient and you wait for extremes based on probabilities, and you take advantage of the fear or the greed to just collect premia, you'll most likely outperform the S&P 500 for the year of 2025 into a beautiful bear market, which, by the way, don't panic, it's going to be a beautiful buying opportunity. So right now, in my humble opinion, our job is to just get ready for it. Obviously, you had great calls on this channel. Bitcoin, Tesla, obviously, those are long-term holdings for me, which I will talk about in the second half of this video. By the way, also give you guys the proper allocation that you need to outperform the S&P 500 when it comes to Tesla and Bitcoin in your long-term portfolios. So going back to the broad market on the short term right now, if you guys remember the smart money and dumb money flow. So the red line is dumb money. You guys recall since the beginning of this small correction, I told you guys that, retail was capitulating, like there was going to be a massive bear market. And usually, obviously, when that happens, it ends up being a beautiful buying opportunity, which I was correct on. I thought that we were maybe going to push a little bit higher, which we could still push a little bit higher, but the market at the moment seems to be searching for any reasons to sell off. Usually when you're in a bull market, bad news are bought up. So that's kind of how you know you're in a bear market or a bull market. So that's not a good sign on the short to medium term, especially when we take in consideration the seasonal weakness window that is about to open for the second half of February into March. And so right now, dumb money FOMO'd right back in, and now we are kind of looking like we might be topping again. So you literally can't make this up. So obviously, in my humble opinion right now, maybe not a good time to be chasing the market. And then looking at the advisor investor model that I also talked about in my last video, I told you guys that basically advisors managing billions of dollars of funds basically capitulated with the money, which is ironical. And I told you guys that if the market was to continue pushing higher, that they would be forced to get back in because of momentum. And so that's basically what happened. You can see there's a spike here. We're not back yet at, extreme greed for advisors, but they did buy back into the market, which is one of the reasons, in my humble opinion, that we saw this beautiful push to the means right here. So now obviously we'll see if the uncertainty continues in the broad market. All right, so obviously Tesla, guys, nothing changed. I told you guys that the Tesla stock will most likely go nowhere for the next coming months until it finally has a insane breakout. We had earnings. Earnings were horrible, by the way. By no stretch of any imagination were these earnings good. It was really bad. The reason why it did not sell off is because of everything I basically have been telling you guys, which is full self-driving and Optimus, the humanoids, and that Tesla is a company that is about to change the world overnight. And right now, this is why the earnings of the past don't matter, because now it's about the future growth. That's how the market operates. It's about the future of the business. It's forward looking, and the expectation on Tesla is starting to become extremely bullish because of Optimus, which is basically what I kept telling you guys for the past, I don't even know, man. I think it's been like 8 months or something like that. So that's why I've been telling you guys, especially if you're Canadian, to buy the Tesla Canadian Deposit Receipt, which is a Canadian version of the Tesla stock that you can buy in your Canadian brokerage without losing 40%. Now it's even more, but the exchange rate, because the Canadian dollar now is the Canadian pesos, continues going down because of all this insane federal government with political ideologies of mental illness, in my humble opinion, ruining my country. That's a whole other topic of conversation. But anyways, hopefully you bought some Tesla in your TFSA account or your RRSP if you're a Canadian. That's the best way, because if not, you're going to enter the position and you're already going to be down like 40% because of the exchange rate, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So I did think that we were going to continue pushing here in my last video to that upper range of the first standard deviation. We didn't. It ended up failing, and we ended up getting rejected at the means. And now we're at a good level where I took advantage of this, especially during earnings. I told you guys I'm selling a lot of cash ticket puts, so I had one at 380. I took profits on that, 90% profit. Afterwards, I rolled it back into another cash ticket put at the 370 strike price. Now I'm up, I think, about 20-30% on it. I'm not really selling it. It's expiring in 2 weeks. The premium was really good. And so that's pretty much that for Tesla. The stock, it's most likely going to go nowhere for now. But there are some amazing news on Tesla, and I'm going to show you guys basically why the stock is not selling off after horrible earnings. So the one thing you need to understand when it comes to Tesla, guys, is if you are buying the Tesla stock, it's because of full self-driving. You're betting that Tesla will solve autonomy, and you're betting on Optimus, okay? You are not buying the Tesla stock because it's a company that produces cars. This is what a lot of people don't understand. Like, the fact that Tesla produces cars is irrelevant to why you are buying the stock right now. Betting on future expectation, which is 100% based on, is Tesla and Elon Musk and the amazing AI team at Tesla going to be able to fully solve autonomy in the next 9 to 12 months, and that next year in 2026 Tesla is going to start producing Optimus, the humanoids, and sell them as a new product. So hopefully that makes sense. And I'm going to show you guys some of the amazing breakthrough technology at Tesla. And this is why you just need to have an allocation at Tesla, because AI is exponential. It's not linear. And out of nowhere, it just keeps getting better and better and better. And we're not talking about, exponential on years. We're talking exponential week by week. So watch this video from Tesla. I don't think there's any sound, but that doesn't really matter. Basically, the Tesla now, they drive themselves from their birthplace to the factory, and they know exactly where to go park themselves. This is real world AI, guys. I mean, this is why you're buying the Tesla stock. And this is what I've been telling you guys for the past, 8 months and more. All the videos are on the channel if you want to go back. So they basically just drive themselves now. There's absolutely no one in the cars. This is insane. And as I told you guys, that this is like the smartphone. It's like when Steve Jobs came on the podium, introduced the smartphone, and no one understood that it was going to revolutionize the, telecommunication world, and that basically, no one was going to be using flip-flops or BlackBerry. Well, this is the second generation of cars. It's not about is the car electric or not. That has nothing to do with the future demand of Tesla. It has to do with safety and the fact that the car drives itself. It's a smart car. It's the new generation of cars. That's it. And so if Tesla succeeds, it basically means that they're going to revolutionize the transportation industry. And now the second reason why Tesla is not selling off after the earnings is again because of the technology, guys. It's not a car company, it's a technology company, and Wall Street is slowly starting to wake up. This is another video straight from Tesla as well. This is insane. I didn't even see this one coming.
I wake, I clean, I live. They leave gifts for me. So kind.
It is funny.
They feed me like a king. But I don't do it for accolades. My work is my sustenance, soaking up every last crumb in every last crevice. Potato chips. Like our own little game of hide and seek. Found you. It's a simple life, but as the sun is to a flower, vital. Until next time, my old friend.
So Tesla has also in their earnings call officially said that the robotaxi fleet is going to be launched this summer in Austin. So they have a date. It's not a rumor. It's actually true. This is going to go live in about 5 months in Texas, Austin. There's going to be 0 humans, guys. And this is just the first fleet. Because AI is exponential when it's learning, I think it's going to take maybe 3 to 4 months max for the first fleet to learn everything it basically needs to learn before it gets deployed in every single major cities, and then it's game over. This is why you always want to have an allocation to Tesla. And I saw this post on Twitter as well, which is very interesting. Points out a good point, which is that the autos for Teslas are what books were for Amazon. So this is why, like I said, you're not buying the Tesla stock because they produce cars. You're buying it because of AI and robotics. And also, quickly, I think I forgot to mention to you guys in the past videos that, if you still did not buy Tesla, obviously you don't want to FOMO when we're at these crazy ranges, right? At the second or third standard deviation, that's when we have a reversal, obviously. That's a good place to sell covered calls, obviously, but don't chase that, especially not with this very weak market we're gonna have in 2025. Only buy dips for 2025. Very important not to forget that. And second last point for Tesla, every time Tesla is below $400 per share USD, it's a buying opportunity. So if you were like searching for a good level, that's where I would start looking if I was you. Obviously, I have a lot of size, so I'll be obviously just continue selling cash equity puts against the stock and collect premia at these levels. There's a reason why my strikes are all below 400s, because I know those are buying opportunities and funds will be buying heavily. And then lastly, guys, I just wanted to finish with Bitcoin. So basically, nothing really changed for Bitcoin. It's going nowhere. Short to medium term, just wanted to show you guys before I end this video the liquidity map. And as you guys can see, there's a lot of liquidity right here on the long side at about 96,000 USD. So most likely at one point we'll revisit these levels to squeeze all the longs. And there's also a lot of liquidity at $110,000 USD per Bitcoin to basically take out all the shorts. I know it's probably very confusing. For me personally, when I'm looking at that, it's not really giving me a good direction. Most likely this means that Bitcoin is gonna stay in this big range right here for the next coming weeks. So it's gonna range between 96,000 and 110,000. So if we do go to these lower levels right here, probably a good time to buy the dip before the Trump administration announces some crazy news when it comes to Bitcoin. I wouldn't be surprised if they are buying some behind the scenes. Trump and the Trump administration are not idiots. They're not just gonna announce a Bitcoin strategic reserve right before they start buying. And yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. So not much going on. I would be cautious, as I said, for the year of 2025. It's going to be bumpy. So 2025, in a nutshell, guys, just survive. Okay, just keep liquidity, have some cash in in short-term T-bills, money market fund, GIC. Just survive the year. Don't lose money. And I'm telling you, there's going to be an amazing opportunity in the next coming months. And yeah, it's going to be life-changing. Just don't fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? Just be patient, go on vacation, Oh, and by the way, before I forget and I end this video, I told you guys I was going to tell you guys the percentage allocation in the portfolio, which basically is 10%, guys. All right. So, in my humble opinion, this is not financial advice. I think that, well, in my last video, I already showed at the end how much Bitcoin you needed to outperform the S&P 500, and based on data it's 10%, and you could have been 90% in cash for the past 5 years and you would have outperformed the S&P 500, which is crazy. And then I would add the fact that I do believe you also want minimum 10% of your long-term portfolio straight in Tesla stock, and you just leave it there for the next 4 to 5 years, and you're gonna outperform the crap out of the S&P 500, in my humble opinion. If you have 10% in each, that's basically the ratios that I will not go below, even if we enter a bear market. I will leave always 10% of the portfolio in Tesla, 10% in Bitcoin, and then the rest in cash entering a bear market. Obviously, right now I'm not at these levels yet, but minimum right now you want to be 10 to 20% cash for the first half, and then the second half you want to bump that to 30 to 50% to really take advantage of that last big bear market we're going to have. And then 2027, 2028 are going to be pretty crazy. They're going to be great years, in my humble opinion, in the stock market. Not financial advice, but obviously you're again going to want to be in the specific horses that are going to run like crazy, like Tesla, Bitcoin, based on future prospect of growth. All right, guys, that's it. Take care. Hopefully it wasn't too long for you guys. Hopefully you have a beautiful day. And here in Canada, well, it's not going well whatsoever. Hopefully things start changing when it comes to politicians and political parties, and we have common sense and just people that are not trying to destroy our country. That would be nice for a change. We had the 9 years of mentally deranged people just doing everything they could to destroy Canada, basically. So we need an election like right now. So hopefully we get one very soon. Fingers crossed. If not, we're already fucked. So yeah. But anyways, wish you a beautiful day. God bless you, and stay safe.